Hey guys, welcome to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, yeah, cheers.
Water
This is just water, guys.
in a beer mug.
But we had a long day today. We just want to sit down here and we will actually talk about our first major travel to Europe.
Europe,
Which was-
aka Germany, France. My first time to Europe and your...
Well, I would say it was my third time, but it was my first time as well at that age.
Okay,
Wherein we were, like we fully remember what was going on.
mature.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about our 3-week stay in Europe, 2 weeks in Germany, and 2.5 days in France.
France, la France.
La France.
La France, viva la France. So as you guys might have known, I have never been to Germany all my life. And I had an opportunity to visit. Early 2017, my brother from Germany reached out to me and invited me and Joel to visit Germany. So the moment I got that message from him, I was excited and at the same time I was also scared because knowing that we had to buy the ticket to go there, and I wasn't sure if my mom could afford it that time. When I told my mom about it, she was very happy as well because she thought that it was the best time for me to go and experience Germany and know the other half of me. So yeah, I told Joe about it, that my brother reached out to me, and he also told me that you're invited as well. So he was excited about it.
How am I gonna tell my parents out
Yeah.
of nowhere? Because I
Yeah.
think it would be different if it was, my relatives in France who invited me. But this time it was your brother, and I didn't really know like how to tell my parents out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Of,
Like, someone invited me to Germany.
Yeah, and it's not like, the next island to Sikihor, which is an hour away,
Yeah.
or Manila.
Yeah, it's like,
That's Germany. Tickets are expensive.
yeah.
Plus, you need pocket money. Europe is pretty expensive compared to the
Oh, yeah.
Philippines. So I was very excited, but also very upset at the same time because I was already,
Anticipating. Like,
anticipating the worst case scenario wherein my dad tells me, I'm so sorry, you can't go with Vanessa because, I don't know, for whatever
Yeah.
reason. It could be
The
because we're tight
budget.
on budget, or just overall, my parents will just say no to the idea.
I remember like when I told you about going to Germany and you were like, oh my God, this is the best opportunity to go to France as well.
Yeah.
'Cause it was a long time since you've been to France.
I was literally a kid, a baby.
Yeah.
Like I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So of course I don't remember anything. I just have these picture memories of events, but that's pretty much it. So this was very exciting for me as well, and I think it wasn't just me getting to go to France, but it's also bringing you there and showing you what France is like.
Yeah.
And it was the same, I think, for you as well, wherein I
Yeah.
get to explore Germany, and oh my gosh. can't
I remember
explain.
like a few years back then, like I was so addicted to the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, I was, and
Yeah.
I told myself that I am gonna see the Eiffel Tower soon. And then when that opportunity came and Joel told me, oh my God, we can go to France as well. I was like, oh my God. You told your parents, and how did you, can you share? Can you let them know how you asked your parents about it?
With my mom, I remember the day that I found out, I immediately told her. Like, Ma, I'm gonna say it in Bisaya. And this also to our Filipino viewers who were asking us if we speak Bisaya, if we speak our own local dialect here. Oo, kabaliw rabi mo Bisaya. Marunong din kaming magsalita ng Tagalog. So, yeah. I told her nga, Ma, ni message ang igsuon ni Van sa Germany. Miingon siya nga, paadtuon daw mi sa Germany para anang mo spend og Pasko dito whole December. And then she was also like, she looked excited as well for me. Like, oh yeah, that's actually the perfect opportunity to go back to Europe, to go to France as well, visit there. And now you're with Van. So now it was more of like negotiating with my mom on how I'm gonna talk to my dad about it. Because don't get me wrong, guys, my dad is a very nice person. But it's just that, at a certain point, you just don't want to surprise him with information.
It has to be planned.
It has to be planned. His military, everything is planned, and so it took me a few days. It took me a few days to plan out what am I gonna say, and then I remember I was in the car with my dad, and I told him, basically, Van's brother in Germany, so amazing. He actually invited Vanessa to go over there, and what's so great about it? It's Christmas time. She's finally gonna experience snow. She's gonna finally see.
Snow.
Yeah. So I was trying to
Excite him.
sweeten the moment,
Sweeten the sour apple.
Yeah, I was trying
Sour
to
apple.
sweeten everything. Like, if that was a business negotiation, I was trying to,
Persuade.
Yeah. Well, it's not really persuading. I was just asking him, but it was just there. At that day, I remember I didn't really push we were off to somewhere. It was kind of busy. So I was just telling him about that, and he was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, that's great for Vanessa. I'm so excited for her. So I was like, okay, that sounds like a good sign. But at the same time, I also got hurt because he didn't ask me, like, what about you? Do you want to go? Or
Yeah.
what do you think about it? He was just more like, I'm so happy for Vanessa. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, now for the next step,
Step two.
plan about how I'm going to tell him that I'm also invited. So it could be a scene. I mean, this didn't happen literally, but those scenes in the movie wherein you're just stressed out with a coffee mug late at night, and you're just writing something and you just crumple it and throw it. No, that's a bad idea.
Oh, like when SpongeBob wrote
Yeah, so it's like every plan you made, and you just crumple it because no, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna.
Can I? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I?
Should I? Or because there's no.
We were in a rush because we had to buy the ticket. So that was like pressure for you as well.
You know what's so ridiculous, guys? We were looking for tickets already in the agency even before I asked my dad.
Yeah.
We were that excited.
And we found a cheap ticket,
Yeah.
and we were just waiting for you.
We were so excited because we found it, and now I even had more pressure in me to tell my dad because we found cheap tickets, and like, please, just after a few days, I can't really remember what happened, but my dad was in a very good mood. I'm not really sure if that was a party, or I think we were playing on our console, and I remember I kept making him win. And then I finally told him, like, I'm also invited to go to Germany.
Remember when I told you
Yeah.
that Van's going to Germany?
Then remember?
Well, I'm invited too.
So, we talked about it, and at first he was like surprised. Like, it was more of like, are you sure you're invited, or you just want to tag along with
Or you
Vanessa?
invited yourself.
Yeah. Are you sure? Because the last thing my dad wants is, a self-invite,
Yeah.
and you know how
It's
it is.
gonna
like,
cause chaos.
Yeah, he had a
You
military style.
you showed the text. You showed the message.
Well, I
You
showed
had
the
to.
evidence. I had to. So I showed
Proof.
him that I was really invited. Look, Dad, I am invited.
There's my name, Joel.
So he did tell me that he was gonna think about it for like overnight, and then the next day he told me, like, okay, it's a great idea. When are you leaving? And I think you guys should visit France as well. So yeah, I remember we planned about that. And just to go sidetrack a bit, guys, I remember within that period, I think it took us another week before we purchased the ticket.
Yeah.
And I remember I was kind of naughty, I guess, at that time. I did something that made my dad angry. And I remember he told me in the car, "You're not going to Germany with Vanessa. I'm very angry at you." And
Uh-oh.
I was like, "Oh no, no, I'm gonna do anything just to go there." But yeah, eventually things worked out. And then our parents purchased the ticket for us.
Yeah.
That was, if not the best Christmas gift
Yeah.
we've ever received.
Uh-huh.
Till today.
Yeah.
That was incredible. We can never thank our parents enough, especially to Vanessa's brother who invited us. Wow. So yeah, finally we had the tickets by
June.
late June, and then now it was just the waiting game.
Shopping for winter. 'Cause
Winter clothes.
we had no like winter clothes, so we went
Yeah.
shopping.
We went to this thrift shop,
Thrift
guys,
shop.
and yeah, they had like jackets basically for a cheaper price compared
Secondhand.
to secondhand.
Secondhand.
Compared to going to a mall and paying full price, which is just ridiculously expensive
Yeah.
for something we are gonna wear for less than a month
Mm-hmm.
and probably won't wear again for a very long time.
Yeah.
Again, the Philippines is very hot and humid.
Yeah.
Even on rainy days, we don't have a weather that is cold enough for us to use those jackets anyways.
Yeah, we were just very excited. And during the 5 months, we were just talking about Europe. We were like, oh my God, like we're gonna go there. It's gonna snow. How cold is it gonna be? And it's my first time. And I'm gonna see the Eiffel Tower. And yeah, that was crazy. And we flew 2 days after my birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
December. So your birthday is on the 4th
On
of
the
December.
4th of December, and
and
we
the flight
flew
on the 6th.
on the 6th.
And prior to that, also on the 5 months, like I was this excited. So we were
Yeah.
taking Turkish Airlines, and I could remember almost every day I was searching for videos on YouTube, which involved Manila to Turkey or Manila to Europe via Turkish Airlines, because I
flights.
just
Yeah.
wanted to see how the aircraft looked like the service and everything. Remember when we boarded and I was saying,
Yeah.
try their iced tea. This one is very
Yeah,
popular.
I was like, how did you know? Like, did you research about the airlines? Like, even the airlines? Like, what?
Yeah.
I was researching about Europe, and he was researching about the airlines.
Like, try their iced tea. Everyone said it's amazing. It was.
It was. We arrived in Istanbul, and we had to, switch to another aircraft, a smaller one, to go to Munich. So, while we were in the airport, we were like, oh my God, we're already in Istanbul and it's so cold. We were just wearing like normal long sleeves, and the time difference, it started to,
Yeah.
because
So-
we left Manila at night and we arrived in Istanbul. What time did we arrive in
We
Istanbul?
arrived in Istanbul at around
6 a.m.?
5 a.m.
Istanbul time.
Yeah, Istanbul time. But that was basically almost 10-hour,
10
30
hour.
or 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
And boarding time was at 6,
Yeah.
6:30, 7, but it was still a bit dark because it's
Yeah.
winter. And I remember, because we got stuck on that stair going up the aircraft, right? And we were just embracing
Yeah.
the 10
Cool
degree
air. We were like,
weather.
oh, it's so fresh.
Yeah, 10
It's like
degrees.
AC outside.
And we were like thinking, oh, is Germany gonna be like this?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's like so fresh.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah. But back to, our flight going to Munich, that was like an hour, 2 hour
2 hour
flight.
long.
When the plane touched down, I cried. And I was like trying to hold my tears, and he was like eating nuts and like, we're here. And I was looking outside the window, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna see my brother.
I actually saw him while we were getting the baggages.
Yeah.
I saw him sitting down by the waiting lobby. I It's like, okay, that's him. I saw him on Facebook. It has to be him. He's a giant, so you can't mistake him for someone else.
Yeah. We stepped out of the airport and we were wearing like our normal clothes from the airplane from Istanbul.
Yeah, just long sleeves.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like winter
One layer.
clothes. Yeah.
When we stepped out
Oh my gosh.
of the airport, it was freezing. Like,
It was the first time experiencing winter like that.
yeah, and I was like, oh my god. And
For us, I mean, we pretty much grew up here in the Philippines. We are Filipinos, so it
Yeah.
was so bizarre. And here I was, remember when we were going out the first night?
yeah.
So I was wearing a thin layer of long sleeve and a jacket and jeans,
Jeans.
socks, normal socks, and winter boots, but that did not help. I remember we were strolling around this market.
We were walking in Marienplatz.
And I was
And-
looking at people looking so comfortable, like, oh, just chit-chatting.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to disturb Vanessa and her brother having so much fun strolling around. But inside I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I think I'm just going to drop down any minute now because I'm just freezing. And thankfully, your brother noticed something was wrong and he didn't even point it out, right? He didn't
Yeah.
say anything.
Yeah. He said that why don't we go inside this coffee shop and have some hot chocolate?
Yeah, it was just so nonchalant, like, I have a great idea. How about we go in this warm cafe and have some hot choco? Oh,
And Joe was like, yeah, good idea.
let's go. What a coincidence.
Why did you decide to wear that?
I mean-
you wanted to embrace the fresh air, no?
Yeah, I wanted to really have a feel of what winter was like. And
Great way.
of course, we were very young back then. And
Yeah.
it was more of, I think this is doable. Like, again, it's our first time experiencing winter. So now I actually believe the saying, it's only cold when you're underdressed.
Yeah.
So I was very
Which obviously you were.
See, I'm doing this while talking. I actually remember the cold, but I was very underdressed.
Yeah.
So lesson learned there. The next few weeks, I was already like gearing up.
Yeah.
Sometimes with 2 long sleeves and then double the
With
jacket, gloves, 2 jeans. But yeah, Germany was
Yeah,
beautiful.
amazing.
Munich.
I remember like there was this one day wherein my brother booked us a tour around Marienplatz. And yeah, we started the tour and it was a nice tour, you know. The tour guide was talking about the history of the place and all the monuments and facts and myths. We were following the tour guide and all of a sudden this guy here saw a stall of strawberries. He is addicted with strawberries. He loves strawberries. Like, please, if you own a strawberry farm,
Yes,
take
please,
him.
guys.
Please take him.
Hire me.
He will pick the strawberries. I mean, he'll try to. I'm pretty sure he's gonna finish all the strawberries.
Yeah.
But yeah, please, if you have a strawberry farm, comment down below. I'll send him to you.
Please.
But yeah, he saw for the first time since we arrived in Germany a strawberry stall and a few other berries like blueberries, and he was like, Langga, let's stop here. And I was like, wait a minute, the tour guide, she's walking already. We're going to a different destination. And it's like, just a minute, we'll just catch up. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. And we were like, ooh, strawberries. And we were like, okay, let's buy. It's just €2, like for a big box. I was like, okay. And then the moment we looked back, there were too many people that we lost the tour guide. We were like, oh no.
They were gone.
They were gone.
They were gone.
We were like, I mean, it was such a waste, and I felt so bad because my brother booked that tour for us. And
Yeah, it was more of like a group tour,
Yeah.
but we still feel bad.
yeah, and we just like we went to the other way because of the strawberries. He got so distracted, but we were we were trying to look for the tour guide. Like we were walking around, and then we were eating some
We
sausage.
did.
And
Yeah.
like,
We did try, guys. Like, we felt bad because we also wanted to give a tip to the tour guide afterwards because she was incredible.
Yeah.
I remember she was an American.
Yeah.
And she was just full of knowledge.
So intelligent.
She was explaining in detail where we were stepping and what happened here and there. And we were just so impressed. And it was just that strawberry stall. And me, I don't know what happened. That was completely my fault. But yeah, we ended up eating strawberries, pickles.
Oh yeah,
and
pickles.
So what happened was, when her brother arrived to pick us up, when we went in the car, I remember I was just holding my pickle that was half eaten at the back, just eating the pickle. And the first question was, which was very expected.
Yeah.
So how was the tour?
How was the tour? And we were like, well, it was nice.
It was
nice. We learned a lot.
We learned a lot.
Wait.
By the way, we got you strawberries. And he was like, oh, strawberries, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny, but remembering that, I actually feel really bad for the tour guide. She was incredible. But
but there was just a lot of people that time, and
yeah.
it was so cold too, and we didn't want to walk too far. We had so much fun in Germany, and I think for me, the experience was a bit more different than you, because it felt so emotional and surreal to explore the place and try the food and delicacies in Germany. We tried Glühwein, which I'm sorry, but I did not like it.
I liked it.
We were so amazed. Every single detail, like even the simplest detail of Germany, we were so impressed, and we were like wow, it's so nice. Like even the very simple shops, we were like, oh, it's so beautiful. Like the churches, there's like,
so
oh my
aesthetic.
God. Even the smell of the surrounding, we were like, it smells like cinnamon and raisins
very
and bread.
Christmas.
And the bread.
Yeah, very
the
delicious.
bread
Oh my God,
was
so much bread.
oh my God, like the best bread. That was the first time I tried legit pretzels, and it was amazing.
We had that every breakfast, guys. Nutella, pretzels, this other brioche-looking bun, another German bread.
Yeah.
Incredible. Every breakfast.
Fresh.
And her brother's apartment was just stone throw away. It was more of in front of a bakery.
Yeah.
So every day we had fresh bread.
Fresh bread in the morning.
The beer.
The beer.
Incredible.
That was his.
So what we did was, no need to put the beer in the chiller. We just put the beer outside overnight, and the next morning, there we go, nice cold beer.
Nice and cold. Since we arrived, and a few days has passed, it never snowed. And one day we were in
the BMW
Museum, checking out those cool, fancy cars. And when we stepped out, because we were finished with the tour, it was snowing, and we were like, oh my God, there's snow. I was like, time to open my mouth and taste snow.
We started having a snowball fight.
Yeah.
It was just so random, guys. And of course, that was one of the major things that we were so excited about.
Yeah.
It started snowing, so we couldn't help it. We did get some looks, like, what are these folks doing? Because we were just throwing snowballs at each other.
And then, we got hungry, and we were bringing snacks, and we were just sitting down beside a pine tree.
Yeah,
and
we had sausage...
sandwiches. And
yeah,
we were just
sandwiches.
eating. We sat on the ground, and we're like, is this even, legal? Whatever.
Under a tree.
Under a tree. I don't even know if that was a park, or we were just sitting by the highway. Something you do in the Philippines.
Yeah, something you do here a lot. And I don't know if that was bizarre for them, but we were just genuinely happy, guys.
And in the Philippines, it's 12 midnight.
Guys,
Maransel.
it might be a very bizarre way to celebrate for Germans, perhaps, but for us, that was completely normal.
Yeah.
Wherein we were raising our voice a bit because we were just so happy.
We were so happy, and we were kids.
Yeah.
Kids that time, and it was such a nice experience. Every day was we tried our best to make it worth it, like do all the stuff we can do, explore Munich. And while we were there, I mean, we were also anticipating our trip to France.
Yeah. We were so excited, but our excitement kind of died off when we were flying to Paris.
Yeah.
And that was the worst turbulence I've ever experienced in my life. Would you say so too?
Yeah, I would say.
It was
scary.
Yeah, it was late at night. All you can see from the outside was lightning. It was raining so hard, and the plane was just dancing and just being groovy. Probably just super excited that we were going there. So the plane
We
was
have
like,
passengers
oh, yeah.
going to Paris.
But
It's their first time.
yeah, come on. But yeah, thankfully we landed safely. So once you land in the airport, you have to take a train to the city. And I remember when we arrived at the station, once we stepped outside,
It was the streets already.
it was downtown Paris.
It was so peaceful looking at the street lights and the.
Wow.
I mean, I saw the buildings and I was like, whoa, like this looks like it just came out of a magazine or
Like a movie, right?
Yeah, like
Ended up at our hotel. And I remember we wanted to call it a night, but we were just
hungry.
starving.
We were starving. Like dinner time. It was dinner time.
Yeah. So we ended up at Subway. Had a French Subway.
French baguette. The legit.
And
In Paris.
and yeah, tomorrow finally came.
Yeah.
The day that
our
we were
tour.
touring around Paris.
Yeah.
So we have a family friend who lives in Paris. She's married to a French man who was the best friend of my father here in Dumaguete. Unfortunately, back in 2005, he passed away. And yeah, now they're back in Paris. She's working full-time there with her 2 kids. And she was nice enough to call off work just to give us a tour.
Give us a tour.
So we are forever grateful for her to do that.
Show us around.
Yeah, and yeah, we met her up. Was that outside the hotel?
No, our first destination alone was the Louvre, and that's where we met.
Ah, yeah.
Outside Louvre.
That's right.
Yeah, you know the triangle picture on top.
Louvre, Mona Lisa.
Louvre. How do you say it?
Louvre.
Louvre.
So yeah, we met up there. Basically, all the famous tourist spots that you can think of, guys. That's where we went. The Eiffel Tower, amazing. Although it wasn't as nice when we went there because it was under renovation.
Yeah, we went to the Eiffel Tower and we took some photos. And while we were walking along the road, there was this mime.
Yeah, so we'll show you a picture of it, guys. But this mime actually tried to steal Vanessa away from me. I mean, that's not literally what happened, guys, you know. But it was a funny encounter, such a funny experience. And I actually played along with it. I was getting upset and like, oh no, I can't believe after all these years I'm going to lose you to a mime in Paris. So,
We gave him a tip.
yeah, it's more of a bribe.
I think that's why he stole me.
Yeah, but yeah,
He kidnapped me.
we gave him
A generous tip.
yeah, a generous tip.
Yeah.
He was funny.
Yeah.
There were a bit of, you know, those scams that you should avoid in Paris. We did encounter that. Like a bunch of folks will just approach you and try to make a bracelet around your wrist and talk to you like, hey, my friend, so where are you from?
What happens?
So once then you tell them, what are you doing? Oh, it's just a sign of friendship. It's fine. Is this for free? Yes, you don't have to. And once they actually complete the bracelet, they ask you for a tip or like anything you can help them with. And if you decline, it's not like forcing you to pay, but it's more of like, you know, they try to manipulate you into like, but I made this and we're friends.
Yeah. Oh.
So why wouldn't you give me just a bit of
Okay.
So you guys should be careful with that if you've never been to Paris. But again, that's very common with any country actually. Scams
Yeah.
are everywhere, but it doesn't take anything away from how beautiful Paris is.
And most of the time we were riding the train, going to different destinations, and then we were also walking, and like walking on the streets of Paris. I was like, yeah. We had fun exploring, taking a few photos, and you know, just enjoying our time and reminiscing every moment. You know, like we're in Paris. Like who doesn't want to be in Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Probably some Parisians don't want to be in Paris.
yeah, but like, I mean, I was amazed with how the French, you know, styled themselves. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I want to be like them, like walk in the streets, you know, with those fancy coats and boots.
We got back to our hotel after a long day.
Yeah.
We actually got back like almost 11 in the evening, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we were tired, and we decided, you know, we had to go home and rest because the next day we had our flight.
At 7 in the
A
morning.
flight 7 in the morning to
Toulouse.
Toulouse.
And yeah, so what happened was, guys,
We arrived at the hotel and we slept, and I think we woke up like at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m., something like
yeah,
that.
2 a.m.
Yeah, to just prepare our stuff. And
Here's the crazy roller coaster ride, guys. We woke up at 2 to prepare for our 7 a.m. flight. And again, we were just so tired the night before that we physically didn't check anything.
yeah,
So what happened was, while we were packing and preparing all our stuff, I started looking for my bag.
it was like a small pouch.
Yeah, it's a small sling bag that had my passport, my watch, my driver's license.
Few cash.
It was gone, and I thought, okay, it might be under the bed, or it could be, you know, just misplaced here a bit. And as I was just frantically looking for it, I realized it is nowhere to be found. It's nowhere to be seen. Where is it? And I asked you, and you started getting annoyed because you were also busy with your things. And I get it. It was my fault. I should have been more responsible. Again, that was our first time traveling together. Oh, I remember realizing after like 30 minutes that, oh my gosh, it is not here. Someone must have took it. And there was a camera just by our doorstep. So, okay, there's a camera here and it's running 24/7. I'm gonna run to the lobby and ask for a review or ask them if they know anything about it. So, while Van was packing upstairs, I was talking to the manager and he started telling me, "Sir, I know nothing about that. That never happens here." So I told him, "Please, sir, you really have to help me because that's my only way out of here. My passports are there."
We were also skeptical about it because when we left to tour around Paris, the room was messy. I mean, the beds were unmade. And when we came back that night, what we ignored it, it was made. The beds were clean.
Even if we didn't request, right? And
yeah,
we locked the doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you had that tag in the door, like "Do not disturb"
Yeah.
or whatever, but they didn't have
They
that.
still,
Yeah.
they still went in
So
anyway.
I told Joe, I was like, I think housekeeping must have came in our room yesterday and cleaned up the room because when we arrived, the beds were made.
So that's the first, it's not necessarily like the first person I blamed, but it was more of like a suspect. Like, it could be the housekeepers. So can you please give me the list of, can you check it on your list at least of who the housekeeper was at this time yesterday? And I was like, "Oh, so sorry, sir, we don't keep a list of the housekeeper." That was the first red flag. No copy of who the housekeepers are, which is very hard to believe. It's a hotel. Second, I asked for this, to review the CCTV footage. "Sorry, sir, at this day, the cameras weren't working." That's odd. How come the lights are red the whole time? And like, what's the point of putting a camera there then? And plus, you guys know that there's a guest in that room. So don't you want to increase security just in case something like this happens?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was the assistant manager. He was a big dude, and he was just listening in the corner. And I became so desperate because we had a flight at 7 a.m. I was panicking because my passports were there, the money, and I became so desperate that I remember talking to this dude who worked there, and I brought him to this. There was the steps going up to the room where it was so secluded, so I was trying to negotiate with him and telling him, and I swear, guys, I was being so genuine. Like, I sat down with him and I started crying, and I told him, "Sir, please, if you know anything about this, or I don't care anymore about the money, I don't care about the watch or whatever is there. Just please put the passport somewhere that I can find it. It doesn't matter where it is in the hotel.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I'm not gonna tell the cops. I just want to get out of here." And I swear, if he did do that, or like, of course, until now we don't have evidence that the hotel did that, right? But if they actually left the passport there, I would have never called the cops.
Yeah.
I would have just gotten the passport. I might
Carry
have
on.
said something about it afterwards,
Yeah.
but I would have carried on and go with you to Toulouse and back to Germany. Of course, a bit of pain that I lost the budget, but I remember looking at him straight in his eyes, and he was just so cold, looking at me back and telling me, "I'm sorry, we cannot do anything about it. I don't know what you're talking about." And so, okay.
It was
Let's
game
call.
over.
Yeah, let's call the cops. I guess this is game over. The cops arrived after an hour with like a bit of smirk on their faces, like, just another day in the office, just another, this thing, you're not the only one, son, trust me. It was more of, that vibe, remember? They checked the door, nothing, no break-in, no damages on the corner.
The window.
Just took a quick, just checked the room for a bit. It's like, "You didn't use the safety box?" "No, sir. It's gone. We can't do anything about it. So what we want you to do is just head with us to the police station, file a report, and if ever we find something, we're going to contact you." And from that moment on, they're never going to find that, because there's just a stack of the same complaints, I'm sure, not just from that hotel, but from many areas, I'm sure. So, do you remember? Instead of being in the aircraft at 7 in the morning, I was in this room with a police officer, and Vanessa was waiting outside the police station, finally living her dreams of drinking coffee in Paris.
It was €6, and it was not beside the Eiffel Tower. It was beside the police station while waiting for him.
It was still a romantic
Angry,
moment.
disappointed, and scared. I was scared.
So there we go. I spent like 30 minutes in the police station. Of course, I did have a bit of hope, like maybe, like sometime, even if we are in Germany, they might contact, like say, "Oh, we found your passport," or this. So it never happened, and just to make sure that I could fly back to Germany and to Philippines, I rode the train all the way to the other side of Paris, which was almost an hour to the embassy of the Philippines. And luckily, I didn't feel okay. I was sad, I was scared. But there was a bit of relief when, I stepped inside the embassy and I just saw a lot of Filipinos, and they were speaking to me in Filipino. It's like, "Oh, anong nangyari?" And then I started explaining to them that this happened and that. And they told me that you should be very careful. Of course, I learned that lesson the hard way. Ever since, I never, ever, ever do the same mistake. But he helped me out. He was so kind. He gave me a document. It was a one-way document to fly back to Germany and then fly back to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And once I get to the Philippines, I had to redo my both passports, so my French and my Filipino, which was such a hassle to do. But yeah, we got it done, thankfully. But wow, what a roller coaster ride, guys. I remember that was an hour long, and once I got the documents, I had to ride a solo trip back to
Yeah.
Paris.
And it was like 6 o'clock already, and we were like, how are we gonna go to Toulouse, like south of France? And we're
Yeah.
like, okay, we are gonna ride a train.
That was the only option we
Yeah,
had.
it was the only option. And we're like, we wasted a few hours already. 'Cause we were supposed to be in Toulouse that time. So we decided to take the bullet train.
It was expensive too, guys, because
Yeah.
it was very last
Last
minute.
minute.
And the dude told us that the only seats available were first class.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, we have no choice. We literally have no choice. Okay, let's just take the first class tickets just to get to the south of France. And oh my gosh,
We almost even missed the train because we were so confused. The train station in Paris was like crazy. And we're like, people were like running and like screaming, and we were like, where is our train? And there were so many trains, and we almost missed the train, right?
We almost missed the train, guys.
Yeah.
But there was a young Indian
Yeah.
who grew up there, and he talked to us, approached us because I think he noticed that we looked so confused, and yeah, there was some blockage there, and we passed by the other side, and our train was on the other end.
Yeah.
But there was something blocking, right? And instead of asking, he told us, "Okay, my friends, come with me." And I remember, like, we were just doing this, like, sneaky
Okay, let's follow
maneuvers.
him.
Yeah, let's follow him. And he was like, "Okay, go under, quick, quick." And there was this huge dude as well who helped us out. Remember,
Yeah.
when it was about to block the area, he held it and was like telling us, "Come on, go in."
Yeah.
Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was so amazing. What an experience. Although we've been through,
Yeah,
one of
we
the
were
worst days.
so tired. Like it was
Exhausted.
so stressful. So we rode the train, and it was like 4 hours. Was it 4 hours?
Yeah, it was 4 hours to
4 hours to
get there.
Toulouse, and we were just drained.
I felt so bad for her, guys. Of course, when that whole thing was happening, I wasn't only thinking about myself, I was also thinking of Vanessa, about like affecting what you felt during the trip of like, oh my God, this was supposed to be romantic and we were supposed to be happy, but because of my
Clumsiness.
Yeah, my clumsiness, now we are both in trouble, and like, you don't feel okay.
Yeah.
I made you feel bad. But yeah, here's a photo of her. But yeah, as you can see, guys, we were just so exhausted.
I was asleep, by the way.
And after 4 hours, we finally got there. My cousin picked us up from Toulouse, and it was another 2-hour drive all the way to Carcassonne, which is a medieval city in the south of France. That is where my father grew up. And yeah, it was more of, once we arrived there, it was more of like, let's hurry up and catch up as much as we can, because instead of budgeting a 2-day stay, we used a whole day of just, getting my papers
Yeah.
done in Paris and the train ride and everything. So now we only had literally one day, a night and one day to spend in the south of France. So we did everything that we could. We passed by the castle, the beautiful castle here. Let me show you a picture.
So
This was
beautiful.
a photo we took in the car. We didn't really stop by because, again, we didn't have much time anymore. And then we had, that was a 2-hour drive, right? Around 1 hour
hour.
30 drive to Bourriège, which is a small town, a small medieval town.
Yeah.
Most of the houses there are built from stone. So beautiful, and that's where my father basically was born. And it was just so emotional because we visited the graveyard, visited my grandparents there, and of course spent some time there
met the whole family.
Yeah.
I met a few of your cousins and
Yeah.
aunts, and that was the first time I tried escargot
Yeah.
and duck.
While we were in Bourriage, I remember looking at my grandfather's house. And yeah, it was just a very emotional moment, guys. And I don't know, it just almost felt like my grandparents were there with me. We got to talk with my father's neighbors. That was an amazing experience as well. And yeah, overall, that was an amazing trip, guys. We got back, we ate at a nice restaurant. Yeah, Vanessa finally tried escargot. We also tried duck salad.
Yeah,
How do you find southern French cuisine?
good. Very, very, like, what
Rustic?
you call that? No, it's like very, like, it's very comforting.
Like comfort food?
Yeah, like, I want to eat this like every day, like with my pajamas and like a blanket. Like,
And after eating dinner, my cousin brought us to a discotheque. We had so much fun there. We didn't get the chance to dance because that
Yeah.
was a Thursday evening or something.
yeah,
So there weren't much people, but we still had a grand time. Wow. And then the next day, we woke up. We had the best French breakfast.
Oh.
Oh my God. You remember the croissant my cousin brought?
yeah. Ooh, freshly baked. Like the moment you take your first bite, and it was like the chocolate was just like melting in your mouth. I was like, oh my God.
It was
Like,
very buttery.
why? Why just now?
Why don't we have this
Why
here?
can I have this like breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
No.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good, to be honest, guys. But yeah, after breakfast, it was sadly time to go.
Yeah.
I hugged my aunt and my uncle and my cousins. What an amazing experience. Now it's time to go back to Germany.
Yeah, and spend Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I think it was the 22nd or 23rd of December that we flew back to
It was,
Munich.
22nd.
Yeah, we flew back. We flew back to Munich and to spend Christmas with my brother. And yeah, oh, Christmas was so jolly there. Like, yeah,
There was a bit of a hurdle though.
jolly
before-
Christmas.
Before getting to spend Christmas, there was this scary thing of holding this paper.
Oh
with me.
yeah, I remember like going through immigration in.
Barcelona.
Oh yeah, we stopped by in Barcelona, but we arrived in Barcelona, and we prepared for the next flight to Munich. And another scary part, because we were like, oh my God, like this is not France anymore. We're in Spain, and like we're gonna enter Germany. I wish nothing is gonna happen or there's no issues, because I just wanted to go back to Germany. And I was like, my brother is there. He's probably gonna help. He's gonna help us, you know, because fix the whole situation. You were behind me. You were next to me, and the moment you gave your documents to the immigration officer, he looked at you and he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but
I
it
remember,
was
like-
literally like this.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. And I was about to go through the x-ray, and I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to ride that airplane without Joe, because I don't know, I don't want to leave him in Spain.
I mean, I could have
What
some
are you gonna do?
have some paella. Dance the
Like-
flamenco.
And I was freaking out. I told myself, like, if you won't be able to go to take the flight, I'm gonna miss the
Oh,
flight too.
really?
No, really.
And then both of
I
us are gonna
swear.
dance the flamenco.
And we're just gonna figure it out together, like. But I wasn't gonna board the flight.
It took a while, probably around 10 to 15 minutes. But so what happened, guys? And I think that was a lifesaver. Was he was like interrogating me, and he was actually very firm on checking. He was even checking if my papers were legit. Like he went through like
Oh yeah.
everything.
Oh.
And then they started announcing that our flight was boarding. And so I told him, sir, I'm not sure how long this is gonna take, but that's our flight back to Germany. So I don't know what's gonna happen now. And I was trying to show him that I'm actually worried because, like, you know, that's my only way out to go back home, which is also the same document that I'm going to be using back to the Philippines. So I explained to him, and then I could remember he never loosened up. It was more of like, okay. And I was like, oh my God,
The relief.
thank you so much. So we boarded the plane, got to Munich,
Flew back to Munich, spent Christmas there.
gave your brother a tight hug. To be honest with you guys, I would say that made our trip more memorable.
Yeah.
I don't ever see it as a negative thing
Yeah.
because there were so many lessons that we learned from that.
Oh, for sure.
We've been traveling a lot ever since, and I'm always careful with everything that I'm bringing. And yeah, there was just so many lessons that we learned from that. And again, that was not something negative, but more of like, it just made our experience crazier, and definitely a trip that we will never ever forget. So Christmas time finally came.
Yeah, Christmas in Munich was very, very special. Aside from, you know, all the Christmas lights and everyone just being so festive and enjoying. It was our first time away for Christmas. So it was just me, Joe, my brother, and his family. So yeah, we just had like a simple dinner. I remember we cooked that roast pork, and then we had a few sweets and desserts. And yeah, it was just a very, very nice, you know, experience. And the next day, my brother took us to the Alps.
Yeah, Zugspita.
Zugspita. He took us to the Alps.
Pictures.
Yeah, so we rode a train. It was like a 2-hour train, I guess, going there. And then another small train up to the Alps. And we were sledding, me and Joe were sledding there, and everything was snow. Like when you look left and right, everything is white, and we were on top of, you know, the mountains.
I remember that cable cart to get to the peak.
Yeah.
And when you look down, it was so deep
Yeah.
and just full of pine trees,
and snow.
And yes, it looked so beautiful, but I was also terrified.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
And it was cold, like
It was cold.
super cold.
It
and
was -7, -7.
I remember I had like thin socks and boots. I was wearing boots, but we were playing snowball fight, and like he threw a snowball
Guys,
at me, and somehow that snowball was sharp.
no, it wasn't.
It was sharp.
Guys, she was walking in front.
You hurt me.
I
You
made
threw the snowball.
a snowball. I threw a snowball aiming for her back because she was a bit far from me. And I accidentally hit her pinky.
Oh, okay, yeah. He hit my pinky, and it was painful.
And she cried in front of the public.
Ex-
In public, she cried, and I was so embarrassed
It
because
was painful.
now I look like
a douchebag.
a douchebag for doing that, which is my intention was, you know, just to play
Yeah,
around.
but the snowball that you made was ice, sir. It was ice, and it was this big.
I'm sorry.
So I had to cry because it did hurt. But yeah, we had so much fun with my family, the other side of my family, my brother, and yeah,
And his kids.
and his kids, and we were
beautiful children.
we were like kids as well, you know, playing snowball fight, and oh, we did the snow angel, remember?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's so cold, and it was so nice. Picture here.
We couldn't stop sledding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And her brother rented out a beautiful Airbnb that
so
was
cozy.
it was facing the Alps with
Yeah.
a beautiful view, and
You think that was like a village? It looked like a
it
village.
looked like a village.
Like we were walking along the streets, and like the stores had like, you know, those Christmas
Yeah.
decorations,
clocks.
cuckoo clocks, those nutcrackers, and I was
Oh
like,
my
this is so nice.
After Zugspite, we were starting to count the days we
Yeah.
had left.
We only had a few days left, and we were a bit sad at the same time. But at the same time, we also missed home. We missed our parents.
Yeah, we missed the Philippines, the warm climate.
Yeah.
It made me realize there are times wherein we just take this for granted, like how beautiful the Philippines is, like how readily available the beautiful beaches are, or the amazing mountains. Yeah, and most of the time we take it for granted because we grew up here, right? But once you actually you visit a different country and you stay there for a good amount of time, you start to feel like, wow,
You start to appreciate.
yeah, my home country is actually very beautiful. I mean, the country where I'm at right now is also beautiful in its own way, but my country is unique, and
Yeah.
I think that's why I call it home.
Yeah.
So the days were counting, because on the 31st, we were flying back to the Philippines. So I think the last major thing we did was visit the zoo.
Yeah, the zoo.
Remember the
Yeah.
zoo? It was such a fun experience. We were bringing, we were so Filipino, guys. We did a thing we call here a baon.
Yeah. Because
Wherein-
we didn't want to spend.
Yeah.
So we were like, we had leftover food from last night, which was fish curry. We had rice, and we're like, you know what, let's take this to the zoo. Let's just share. It wasn't much. Like, it was leftover, like literally like 1 cup of rice, and yeah. So we took it to the zoo, and we toured around the zoo. That was the first time I saw a rhino, by the way.
That was the first time I saw a lot of those animals.
Yeah, and a
Those-
flamingo.
that white fox.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, flamingo.
yeah,
Rhino was very
Yeah.
impressive, right?
yeah.
Um,
Oh, that was also the first time we saw penguins. We were like,
Yeah,
what?
they're so
Penguins, They're
cute.
so cute, and the fox.
That white fox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It was
cute.
just by that rock. I'm not sure if I have those pictures, but let's try to
you
bring it
have.
up. Yeah.
So yeah, we had so much fun in the zoo, and then we get hungry because it was lunchtime, and the zoo had this food court. So we sat down there. We took out our baon, started eating, and then Joe was like, I think we gotta order something, because like people here are like eating food from, you know, the restaurants. He was like, okay, I'm gonna go and get some fries. So he bought fries.
I was looking for the cheapest thing on their menu, guys, and it was fries. Okay, I'll have some fries. We didn't bring enough rice,
Yeah.
so why not more carbs?
Yeah, so we were eating rice and fish curry in the zoo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that was a fun experience.
it was such a fun experience,
Yeah.
right? And then finally the day came. It was time for us to go back to the Philippines,
Yeah.
but not without doing a very Filipino trait as well, which was prepare the pasalubong.
Yeah.
So I was going overboard.
Yeah.
I mean,
we went to the grocery store, and Joe was like, no, this.
she
and
was
this,
buying
that.
pasalubong, but I was buying pasalubong.
And we were just like, oh my god, we gotta get this.
Oh yeah,
This one. Ooh, that looks
okay,
so
I'm
nice.
gonna-
This one.
I'm gonna give this to my cousin, but what if the others need one as well? Okay, I'm just gonna grab like
I'll get 5 of these. I was like, excuse me, sir. Like, our luggage is like 25 kilos going back. Like, how are you gonna fit? And he bought a keg. He bought a beer keg, which was,
I bought a.
I was like, how are you gonna bring that back to the Philippines?
By the way, the whole time I bought that beer keg, I was carrying it like it was my baby.
He was carrying it like a baby.
Like this, and I even kissed the keg.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring you to the Philippines. I'm gonna share you with my friends,
Yeah.
and they're gonna love you just
Yeah.
as much as I do.
He has a special relationship with beer,
Beer, yeah.
and I accept that.
I'm
But
not
yeah.
alcoholic though.
Sure. So he bought the keg, and as we were packing our stuff, we were like, "There's no way this keg is going to fit inside the luggage, because we had clothes, we had chocolates, and another thing is we had to leave our winter coats with my brother because we had no more space and they were too thick. But the keg, we had no choice.
I didn't want to leave it behind, guys.
We had to, and we're like, this is gonna spill, and we can't. We're pretty much gonna pay extra if we brought that. I have no idea why you bought that keg.
The beer was just so amazing, and that exact beer, my favorite out of all the beers I've
Yeah.
tried, was just right in front of me, and
It was
there
a beautiful
light-
keg, right?
Yeah.
It was like a cute one, like with the faucet.
yeah,
But yeah, we had to leave it behind.
and
Sad for Joe.
and I don't know what came in me. I wrote a letter to her brother because her brother wasn't there
Yeah.
at that time. As we were leaving, I wrote a note saying, "Thank you so much for letting us stay in your beautiful home and for being so amazing. We can never thank you enough. But here's beer. Here's beer for you.
For you.
Hope you enjoy." And I placed it there. And then I just realized going home here, like, hope you enjoy. Here's beer for you. That's readily available there.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
You could have like went to the shop anytime to get
Yeah,
the
but
beer.
it was still a kind gesture, so you know.
Yeah,
Better than going to waste as well.
yeah. But yeah, the day that we had to go back to the Philippines, my brother wasn't there. He was in a different country, so he booked us a taxi,
A beautiful, premium grab.
Mercedes-Benz
Yeah.
taxi, a black one.
Wow, guys,
Wow.
that was an S-Class. Everything leather.
Yeah.
And we were just so surprised because here we are like eating Liebkuchen and like with massive luggages that are about to explode. And we were standing there waiting for our taxi, and this Mercedes S-Class just stops, and the driver had like white gloves on.
Yeah,
And
we were like-
okay, this is serious.
It's like, is this for us?
This is
Are
like-
we riding this to the airport? Like, my brother booked that.
As a last gift, you know, of like, sorry I had to leave because I
Yeah.
have a trip, but here's a beautiful way of exiting Germany as a last souvenir.
Yeah.
And I was like, the whole trip, it was 2 hours away. The airport was so far,
So far.
but 2 hours felt like 2 minutes because I
Oh,
was
yeah.
just looking around the car.
Exploring.
Like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is so amazing.
The
And
moment we were at the airport, we were eating like cheese
we were munching on
and like, sausisong and
those,
like.
smoked
We were
sausages.
just like snacking. We were, oh my God, like this is so nice. Like we don't have this in the Philippines. And we're like eating and waiting for the plane to arrive. As expected, with all the pasalubongs inside our luggage, it was overweight. And it was like 6 kilos over.
Yeah, 6 kilos.
And we were talking to that ground attendant, and we were like, ma'am, like, please.
We're so sorry.
We're so sorry. And she was nice enough to, tell us, you know what, that's fine, like 6 kilos. Okay, I'll just give it to you guys for free.
And it was more of like, you can see it in her reaction to it. It was more like, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
were,
steal
we were
some.
able to get into the plane, ride the plane.
Yeah.
Joe had no issues with his passport that time.
With the file,
Yeah, with
the
the
document
with the
that I was
file.
bringing.
Yeah, so it was smooth. And going back home, it was an evening flight, so we literally spent the New Year.
In the aircraft, 40,000 feet above the air. Happy
Heard
New Year.
nothing, heard no fireworks.
Wouldn't that be terrifying to hear explosions?
Yes,
Well,
I just want to say, like, heard nothing.
thank God we
Just
didn't.
the engine. Heard just the engines, and yeah, we were so excited to go home. And we did not regret anything with our trip, despite what happened with Joe and his passport and him being clumsy and his pasalubong stuff.
You really have to keep repeating me being clumsy. I'm sorry, okay? It's
The
been
pa-
5 years.
The patience that I have for you, the patience.
It's been 6 years.
Yeah,
It's been
6 years of patience. It takes patience. So yeah, we did not regret anything, and it
Zero.
was such a fulfilling trip for both of us. I get to visit Germany, and in the sidetrack, I get to visit Paris as well, like my dream country, my dream city. And Joe got to see his family, and I got to meet his family as well. So
And I got to visit Germany, Munich.
Yeah,
So
at the
it
same
was.
time, it was a win-win. Like,
Oh my God, what a beautiful
yeah,
experience.
it was such a beautiful experience. I love Europe.
I feel like we should go back on winter because we really miss winter, guys.
I miss the snow. I am obsessed with snow. A lot of you guys hate the snow. We
Yeah.
had a comment that Canada was like, he's from Canada and
He's sick and
He's
tired
sick
of
and
the
tired
cold
of
weather. At the end of the day, it's just what you're used to. We grew up in the Philippines where it's
Yeah.
humid and hot. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're used to it, but we'd rather have something cold.
Yeah.
And it's the same way for you guys. If you grew up in a very cold country, you would wish to experience the warm
Heat,
and
yeah.
you know
The
the
sun.
tropics. Yeah, and I feel like we love the cold, but if we live there long enough, probably
We
give
would
it
hate
like
it.
yeah, give it a few months.
We would get tired of it
We
for
will.
sure. But yeah, I mean, it was our first time, my first time. So yeah, we had so much fun, and I'm pretty sure he learned a lesson.
I learned a lot of
He
lessons
learned a lot of lessons
that I keep
Yeah.
by heart. That made me, you know, a better traveler in a way.
Mhm.
Like now I know like what to do and what not to do, and sometimes like I do get suspicious. Like okay, this could end badly, so let's avoid doing this
Yeah.
and do this instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because of that incident.
He's more responsible right now.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful that. Like it's so weird to say that I'm thankful that happened because
I'm thankful my passport. got
yeah, we
stolen.
actually affected a lot of people, not just us.
Yeah.
We affected our family friend in Paris. We affected my cousins in France, your brother. My parents got worried here in the Philippines. But at the end of the day, that's life. There are things that you really can't avoid. But the most thankful part about all of this is we didn't get hurt. Nobody
Yeah,
got hurt.
nobody got hurt. Nobody went to jail.
Yeah, so
I think the most important was that we were able to go home.
We were able
back
to go home.
the Philippines.
Yeah.
I mean, up to this day, every time me and Joe talk about it, reminisce, you know, those memories, it always feels like it just happened a few months ago. And yeah, hopefully soon we get the chance to visit Germany and France again, and other countries in Europe as well. I mean,
of course.
I'd love to have a tour. I always told Joe that it's my dream to have a tour around Europe, even just by train.
So yeah, guys, that is our story of our first major travel to Europe. What a roller coaster ride
Yeah.
indeed. Again, so much lessons that we learned from that trip, so much joy, so much sadness. And we thank all the people that were there to help us all throughout our trip. We could never thank you enough. And also to our viewers, thank you so much for listening to us.
We hope you enjoyed our story. I'm pretty sure most of you are laughing what happened to Joe here.
I hope not, guys. I
but-
hope not.
But yeah, comment down below. So thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. We look forward to making more vlogs and you guys supporting us. We appreciate it so much. Much love to everyone.
Again, big thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. We're so happy, so it inspires us to make more contents for you guys. So yeah, please let us know in the comment down below. And if you are new here, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. More vlogs coming soon, so stay tuned. And we will see you on our next vlog. Peace.